It's time for the Doug Garrison Show. This week, Doug talks with the Marquette County United Way co-chairs about the 2012-13 fund drive. Jennifer Hughes Bystrom from the Springs of Hope Foundation tells us about a new effort called Home of Hope. And we hear about a Country Village Christmas sing-along this Sunday featuring singer-songwriter Trenton Thomas. Hey, that's me! Stick around, the Doug Garrison Show starts now.
Tell the host 2 minutes. Stand by live to tape. Lighting to show level, please. Confirm front of house sound PFL. Roll tape on masters to all the places. Alright, let's clear the set. Cue John music, open stage mics, standby effects, standby CG, standby to open on 3, 2. Alright folks, let's have a good show. Stand by, roll it in.
Welcome to the Doug Garrison Show. Thanks for joining us at home on Charter Channel 12 and Fox UP. Well, we're well into the holiday season now. We've got some snow on the ground, so all you who like recreational activities outside, you should be happy now. Unfortunately, we had a couple things happen in the past week that I would consider bad news. Of course, it's just my opinion, but I think it's unfortunate. First of all, of course, was Sunday night. The Detroit Lions lost to the Green Bay Packers for the 78th straight time, and at some point in time, we've got to beat those guys. I'm not sure if it's going to happen in my lifetime, but I think we can kind of keep a positive thought. It might happen sometime. The other thing, earlier this week, the Right to Work bill was passed and signed by our governor. I know people are on different sides of this issue. Myself, I'm a union guy. I believe that unions protect the hourly workers, stand up for their rights and their benefits and good living wages. I know there's abuses of the system, but I think overall in the state here that where unions were created, I think unions are a good thing, and I'm sad if they're going to suffer by this latest ruling. Some good news, we still have time to Christmas shop, and here's the good part of that. You can still shop locally, and we always advocate that here on the Doug Garrison Show. You don't have to go online and get those deals that they'll tell you can deliver overnight. You can get it right now when you shop locally in your own hometown. So, do that. Keep a good thought about the Lions. Let's think about our union neighbors, shop locally, and stick around. We got a good show. Be right back.
Let's face it, UP roads call for four-wheel drive.
Riverside of Marquette has 19 different models of new all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles.
Over 125 on the ground right now.
Toyota RAV4 starting at $199 a month. Honda CR-V from $239 a month.
Nobody pays less for their cars and trucks at Riverside, which means you'll never have to drive for a better price.
Make some child's Christmas by dropping off your Toys for Tots donation right here at Riverside of Marquette.
I'm one. She's not alone. I'm one too.
1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime.
For those of us with breast cancer, there is hope.
With early detection, 99% of women can be cured.
At Bell Hospital, your mammogram is reviewed while you're on site, and follow-up testing can be done the same day.
With the latest in breast cancer detection, Bell Hospital is the right choice for the mammogram that matters most.
Yours.
Spotlight on Service is presented by the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union, where they are all about service to community. We appreciate their sponsorship of this segment. All right, joining us first out of the box here, a couple good friends of mine, Mark Cannelli and Christine Pasola. Together, you guys are the co-chairpersons of this year's United Way campaign. Let me, on behalf of the community, say thank you very much for your service. I'll start out by saying that I know that when you take on a job like this, or whether you're the president of a service club or what have you, it's kind of like having a part-time job. I mean, I know that you put a lot of time into this, right? This isn't something you just put your name on and say it happens. There's some elbow grease and some time.
It's almost full-time, actually, but it's a labor of love.
Okay, sorry, I just called it part-time.
It's almost
You do have a day job.
I'm able to fit it all in.
Yeah, well, this is your second year, Mark. You did it last year with Tom Blake, and you said, I'll do it again. How's that experience been for you?
It's great. I'm glad I took it on a second year. Actually, 1 year serving United Way wasn't enough. But it was the night of the community investment panel discussions that I decided for sure I wanted to come back for a year or two.
Yeah, good. Well, we're glad to have you. I'm sure Christine's glad to have you. This is your first year, and you mentioned it was nice for you to be able to come in work with Mark, who has kind of 1 year of experience there.
Yeah, it's been great. Mark's been my mentor. He kind of shows me the ropes, and we're just having a ball going to all the different workplaces and meeting folks, and trying to talk about United Way and get them excited about it. So we're having fun, definitely.
Yeah. When they asked you to be the co-chairperson, why did you say yes?
Well, honestly, they'd asked me for a few years, and I just felt that I wanted to wait and make sure that I had the time to devote to it. And I'm just thrilled that I was able to do it and say yes, and it's great.
Well, you knew obviously how important this is to the community, but I think you've probably found out more now since you've been out meeting people and talking to people exactly how important it is.
Well, Mark and I are in Rotary together, for an example. And so we do our fundraiser, we do the Seafood Fest, currently going to be Harbor Fest. And, we work really hard to raise that money. Well, the United Way does the same thing on a larger scale, community-wide. And the funds are so concentrated. Each person can give what they're able to give, but if you pool all that money together, we're talking, a good amount of dollars.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing, is that you mentioned there are 28 different agencies served by the United Way, and that once you get all these people together contributing, then it can really make a big difference. Mark, any success stories that you can cite that we can focus in on and say, yeah, it really does work?
Two in particular, and why I'm back again this year. I mentioned the night of the community investment panel discussion. I was sitting in the basic needs panel that night, and a woman came in who started to tell her story. And this woman was, shall we say, being mentally abused by her husband. She couldn't take a bath or a shower unless she had his permission. She couldn't go to bed when she wanted. She couldn't even turn on a light or turn it off unless he said so. And so this woman was virtually a prisoner in her own home. And once her friends got wind of this, they got her to Harbor House and the Women's Center, and she's now on the road to recovery. Mm-hmm. And she shared that story with us, how United Way dollars had helped her. And right on her heels came a young man who, when he was 16, he was born and raised in Denver, Colorado. When he was 16 years old, you'd think your parents would have a party for you, or at least have a birthday cake or something.
Keys to the car?
Yeah, when he was 16, they told him he was old enough to be on his own, to gather his things, and good luck to you. Mm-hmm. And he left his house, with whatever he could carry. And somehow he met up with some buddies, and they ended up in Marquette, Michigan. I didn't ask him how he ended up in the UP. With the help of Lutheran Social Services, they got a family who adopted him and nurtured him and cared for him. He not only graduated from high school, but he's now attending Northern Michigan University with aspirations of achieving a master's degree.
Yeah. We think about the idea of 28 agencies, thousands of people contributing. So we always think in terms of big numbers, how this affects a lot of people. But really, when it comes down to success stories and where it really touches your heart is when it's one person, this lady that was being abused by her husband, one young man who needed some help, those individual stories that kind of really say, yeah, this is important stuff.
The other thing is the money stays here. Mm-hmm. And so that any dollar that's given here stays in Marquette County. The United Way served over 9,000 people last year. These are actually our friends and neighbors. Right. Seniors need help, or
we know we like it when our dollars stay locally.
We love it. It's just like shopping locally, giving locally. It's really good.
How's the campaign going so far, Christine?
Well, we're about 50% of the way, a little over 53%. We've got about 230,000, and certainly would love to take the opportunity to thank people that have given, and encourage anybody that's listening, if they would care to have a workplace presentation. Mark and I would love to come and talk it up.
Yeah, this goes through the end of April, but certainly people, we don't give now, don't wait, and there's tax considerations for doing so in 2012. You also have a foundation going too, an endowment fund, which hopefully comes to a point where it pays your administrative costs. So at some point in time, hopefully soon, all the money that's donated will go right into these charities.
Right, although our overhead is very low. It's
Sure, it
6
is.
cents on every dollar.
And you got some great people working there that, and I'm sure make it easy for you to say, I'll do it another year.
You know, and one of the things about the agencies that are served by the United Way, they have to live by the same criteria that the United Way does. So if you're looking at 6% overhead, that's your money's working for you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, again, this is a great effort. On behalf of our community, I thank both of you for your time and efforts. Mark from Canale Tindala Funeral Home, Christine from the Landmark. I joked, it's a part-time job. It really is, so we appreciate that. Just briefly, Christine, Leslie Cerati, someone who works for you, has some medical issues right now. There's some fundraisers coming up. I just want to make people aware of it. She's been a favorite of many of ours for many years, and I know you have some things on the burner. We'll watch our Facebooks, but our prayers go to Leslie.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, Leslie, she's a sweetheart. She's known to so many people in the community, and yeah, watch for Facebook, and we'll have some fun things rolling out so that we can help her and cheer her on.
It's not under the United Way banner, but it's another way people in this community get together to help people in need.
Everybody's so giving in this community, and
I
so
think when you
good.
get in a position like this, you find that, and that makes you feel that much better. All right. Mark and Christine, thank you very much. Good luck to the program. We'll have you back again maybe and celebrate the success sometime in April.
Great.
How's that sound?
Thank you.
All right. Okay, stick around. We'll be right back talking about hope. That's a good subject all the time. All right, be right back.
Guess what? You can get any new or used car financed in the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union for 3.9% APR. New or used. Got your eye on this new Escalade? 3.9%. How about this 75 Gremlin? 3.9%. Looking at this stylish Dodge Dart? 3.9%. How about a new Chevy Cruze? 3.9%. RV, boat, tractor? 3.9%. What about this DeLorean time machine? 3.9%. 3.9% auto loans, new and used at the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union. Stop in and apply today.
The Doug Garrison Show is brought to you in part by Iron Bay Computer and Design. Iron Bay gives you the quality and service you demand. And by Reflections Hair Salon, featuring professional stylists, a family-friendly atmosphere, prices to suit your budget, and great holiday styles. For an appointment, call Reflections at 226-0175. Okay, I said we were going to be talking about hope, and that's always a good thing, so hopefully you stuck around for this. With me is Jennifer Hughes Bystrom, and you are the founder of an organization called Springs of Hope Foundation. And you knew Mark and Christine, our first guests. You're in Rotary together, so we tend to get all these people that kind of are like-minded, and you are like-minded with them in that you're out trying to help people, but not necessarily in our community. You have kind of an international flavor to what you do. Tell us a little bit about what Springs of Hope and Home of Hope are.
Well, Springs of Hope was the first orphanage that I got involved with in northern Kenya. About 4 years ago, my husband and I retired. We live in Big Bay. And 4 years ago, one of my bucket list items was to work or volunteer in an orphanage. I heard about an Australian couple that had started an orphanage, so I called them up and they said, sure, come on down, you know.
And you were from Australia originally.
Yeah. And so I went to Kenya to work in their orphanage.
Was that on your bucket list, to work in an orphanage in Kenya or just to work in an orphanage?
To work in an orphanage in Kenya.
Okay.
I'd read a lot of novels about Kenya and I really had an interest for the country and the history. When I got there, they were fully staffed, fully funded, and very well organized. So even though it was important for the children to have me there, I really didn't feel as though my presence mattered one way or the other, that being there made any difference. I became really good friends with an Australian missionary couple while I was there, and they kind of recognized that, and they said, if you really want to do something that will make a difference, come back and we'll send you to a woman that really needs help. She was up in the northern part of Kenya in the Samburu area. So 6 months later, I came back and went up to Springs of Hope. And there I met a Kenyan woman in a remote town who had recognized a growing number of homeless children in the streets in the town that she grew up in. And so she got it in her mind to start an orphanage, but she had no way to get funding. So I realized that the reason I was there and sent there was to help her get notoriety from the outside world, funding from the outside world. So I went back to Australia and thought, how do you do this? Yeah. And in Australia, you have to register. So the first thing I did was call the government and get all the paperwork, this much paperwork. And I thought, and it takes about a year to get registered, and I didn't have a year. So I thought, I'm just going to do it. Yeah. And I started going to service clubs and talking. I was talking at my Rotary Club in Australia. One of the members, prior to my talk, said to me, so are you registered? And I thought, oh, here we go, first one. I said, no. I know I have to be, but I looked into it. It's very expensive. It takes a long time, and I just don't have that much time.
Just going to do it.
I'm just going to do it, and God will take care of the rest. And he said, I know. That's what I do. And I did it for another local group, and they had no appreciation of what I did for them. I said, are you nuts? Did they look at the paperwork and how much it costs? So long story short, I gave my presentation at that club, and he came up and he said, okay, I'll do it for you.
Excellent.
So he registered my charity in Australia.
So that's really the fundraising vehicle to support these orphanages, as you say, are for infants, for babies. That's where the need is, because there are so many babies being born in a society, a culture that still has a big AIDS problem, no parents there. So that's who these orphanages are serving, these young babies primarily.
Yeah. There's a huge gap. The middle generation, the 20 to 40-year-olds, many of them are dying of AIDS, and that leaves the elderly grandmothers to take care of the small babies. And the young children have to scrounge in the street selling charcoal to make money for grandma to feed them all.
That must be hard to see when you're there. You know, we get a feeling in America that AIDS the problem is diminishing a little. Is that not the case in Kenya and Africa?
No, and there's an ad campaign going around now talking about Nigeria, and they haven't had an HIV baby born in the last 8 years. Well, we just got an HIV baby 2 weeks ago.
So it's a little misleading. How's your fundraising going? Do you find a good reception in Australia and in America for this? Because obviously we talked about this is not raising money for someone in your community. It's in a country far away that we don't think about that much. But you find support?
It runs hot and cold.
Can always use more.
I sometimes get criticized for helping globally, and I think that we should think globally.
You have to let that run off your back, obviously. What about, you mentioned adoptions, these babies, when they're born without parents, they're available for adoption, and how does that work?
When I go to Kenya in January, I have to do a lot more research. The Kenyan government didn't allow adoption, then they did allow adoption, so I want to be absolutely certain that they will be up for adoption, and I'll spend a great deal of my time really researching that when I'm in Kenya. It's a little bit more difficult. You have to be in Kenya for 6 months and bond with the baby before you're allowed to adopt them.
That is a challenge.
And part of that is to prevent child trafficking too.
Sure.
So.
Okay, good. This must, like I say, it must be, you must have some place in your heart that you really feel that this is your purpose on earth now. You must get support from your husband and your family and all your friends to be able to do this, because obviously this isn't like just going to someplace down the street and putting money in a Salvation Army kettle. This is your life at this point.
Yeah.
Kenya might seem like a second home to you, I would think.
Yeah, it is. And like Christina Mark was saying, it is a full-time job. But it's a very rewarding job for me.
And it's all happening coming out of Big Bay, Michigan. So we appreciate that. Jennifer, more power to you. Like you say, I think you're doing God's work. We hope the best for you. Certainly your safety when you're there. I think you're probably putting yourself in harm's way from time to time, but it's obviously you feel God's on your side and He'll watch over you. All right. Jennifer Hughes Bystrom, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with Home of Hope and Springs of Hope.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
All righty. Okay, stick around when we come back. We're going to talk about an upcoming sing-along. If you like that, you'll want to hear about this. So don't go away.
typical week of training for me is about 120 miles a week. In 2010, I had a meniscus tear after the Twin Cities Marathon. And so when I had my injury, I didn't have a second thought of where to go. I knew Advanced Center for Orthopedics, the doctors there, a lot of them are affiliated with sports. I knew that I was in the right hands. Advanced Center for Orthopedics got me back to my passion, and I recommend them highly.
City Insurance has you covered. Located on Washington Street, Marquette.
Our West End update this week is presented by Fox Negaunee. New cars, used cars, and one of the area's most reliable and trustworthy service departments. We thank Fox Negaunee for their sponsorship of this segment. And with us is Trenton Thomas. Trenton, thanks for joining us. I found out about you because you have an event coming up this weekend. We'll talk about it in a minute, but you're a singer, songwriter. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in that business.
Sure. Well, I've played piano since I was 5. I actually read music before I read words on a page, so cool. Kind of forever. But I'm actually classified as a hymnist. I write new hymns for churches, and I take old hymns and I put new tunes to them. So I do a lot of that sort of thing, writing, arranging. I really like to do that sort of thing. So. Nice.
You're a piano. Do you play any other instruments besides piano?
Not very well.
Yeah.
I pluck away a few chords of the guitar, but not enough to really say I know how to play it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you play regularly, or do you sing in a church anywhere regularly? In a church choir or organist for anybody, or
not on a regular basis. I do music shows here, there, and everywhere around the country, but
yeah, you've been to some interesting places too.
Yeah.
Now you have an event coming up this weekend. It's a sing-along,
yes,
which my wife's excited about. She likes to go to sing-alongs because she likes other people singing when she sings.
That's right.
Even though I think she's a good singer, but tell us about the sing-along.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. We're just doing a bunch of Christmas songs, so. We're inviting people to come out. It's a free event in Ishpeming. Mm-hmm. Come out, sing your favorite Christmas carols with everybody. Get to know some of your neighbors that live right next door and you've never met them. You know, that type of thing. Yeah. So we're trying to get people out to just sing. It'll be a pie social style event. So it's at the Banquet and Conference Center, and they're selling pies and hot cocoa, and in the country village there, and. They're selling pies and hot cocoa.
Bring
and
the family.
like that. So,
and,
bring the family, bring the friends.
Yeah.
Bring your worst enemy. Sing together. Maybe you'll be friends by the end of it.
And it'll be a lot of songs that people are familiar with.
Yes, all the Christmas carols, and there'll be words up there. So.
Yeah. And you said people can request songs if they want to. If you want to play something that they know, they can visit your website, which is
trentonsmusic.com. Yes, they can go and on the Thought Hub page, there's actually a discussion forum. If they reply to that, they can request. Their favorite Christmas carol.
And
you'll
be ready with that.
Hopefully, if they get it by Friday afternoon, hopefully we'll be ready and we can include that one. Hopefully we have everybody's already. But hey, if they think of something and they want to make sure we sing that one.
Yeah, there you go. Visit his website anyway. You'll find a lot out about Trenton. Okay, that's the Country Village Christmas this Sunday, 2 to 4. It's free. Check it out. Bring the family, and you'll have a good time. We're going to listen to Trenton, so don't go away. We'll be right back with Trenton Thomas.
We need to clear out our new 2012 vehicles.
It's Chrysler's Big Finish event with Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles at dealer invoice, and Jeep Liberty and Jeep Compass with an additional $300 Fox discount.
Take deep discounts on this 2012 Jeep Liberty Sport 4-wheel drive. Fox price $24,135.
A 2012 Ram Bighorn Quad Cab only $28,668.
Get the year's best deals at the Big Finish event at Fox Negaunee. Marquette County's hometown dealer, only the best.
Well, this is a brand new Christmas song that I wrote. It's a hymn, and it's titled Christmas Prayer. of Mary, Son of God, filthy walls and darkened cave, like the hearts you came to save. Conquering King and God of grace, why did you choose this place? Why did you choose this place? Hungry masses, jeering crowds, hard to see this quiet hour. Lamb of God, our sacrifice, sleeping peacefully tonight. Price for sin is born today. Why did you choose this way? Why did you choose this way? Simple shepherds humbly bring homage to the King of Kings. Where's the palace, crown and throne? Won't you strive to claim your own? Son of Man, we don't deserve. Why is it us you serve? Why is it us you serve? Broken hearts and cruel pain, wounds for my eternal gain. Crucified in victory, hid in Christ my life will be. Pleads for me in judgment's place, the power of living grace, the power of living grace. Lord of all, in helpless child, judgment stemmed through mercy mild. Counselor who knew my sin, felt my shame yet entered in. Humbly now I bow the knee, you came to set me free. You came to set me free.
The Doug Garrison Show is brought to you in part by Marquette Golf Club. The Pro Shop's open daily, Monday through Saturday, with great gift ideas and discounted memberships for 2013. Shop for Christmas at Marquette Golf Club. And by Cliffs Natural Resources, a global mining leader with local investment and impact. Cliffs Natural Resources. And by Swick Home Services, plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, home generators, water treatment, sewer and drain cleaning. Those Swick guys do everything. All right, I want to thank our guests, Mark Canali and Christine Pasola, co-chairs of this year's United Way campaign. Remember, you can still donate. It's for a great cause. Visit their website and find out how you can still give. We also had Jennifer Hughes Bystrom here, helping fund and organize and run orphanages in Kenya. That's great work. You can support that as well. And Trenton Thomas was here playing some Christmas music for us and talking about a sing-along happening this Sunday up in the Country Village. So it's all good. And actually, the Packers won. That's okay. They got a good team. Go ahead. Go Pack, go. All right. See you next week on the Doug Garrison Show.